everybody, welcome to another scrapbook layout video with Scrap and Lish from scrapandlish.blogspot.com. Book layout is for the submission for the My Pink Stamper design team call that she posted on her blog on January 1st. And so part of this challenge was to create something using pink, green, and brown, and an additional color of your choice, and also one of your favorite Cricut cartridges. Doing a scrapbook layout of my niece. She lost her first tooth right before Christmas, so I was going to create a fun little page for her. And so primarily the Cricut cartridge that I'm going to be using is a child's year. It is actually one of my favorites. All the cartridges that I have are my favorite in some way or another. It has so many cute different images, silhouettes, icons that you could use on even if you don't have children, but just the images alone on this, plus it also has a super cute font on it, which any cartridge that has a font is A+ in my book. So the images that I'm going to be using is this tooth fairy on page 77 in the handbook, and I'm going to be using the top right image, the tooth fairy with the present. I like that one better. And then I'm also going to use the tooth, which is the icon creative feature. It has a tooth and a toothbrush, and I'm going to go ahead and use the tooth for that. I've already pre-designed how I kind of want my layout to go on my gypsy. That's one of the main things that I love about the gypsy is, you know, my husband and I went to a movie earlier today, and I thought I, want to do a scrapbook layout, and so I kind of pre-designed it on my gypsy. And so I have my sizes of the images that I want already on there, and so now I just have to plug it into my Cricut, put the paper down on my mat, and I'm good to go to cut. So I'm going to go do that real quick, and then I will come back and we'll assemble the layout, and I will be right back with my image. Okay, so I have my papers trimmed down and my images cut from my Cricut that I want to use on the layout, and I got the tooth fairy cut at 5 inches, and that's just cut in early espresso from Stampin' Up. And to get the title, I used Printing Press. That was a free download with the Cricut Gypsy. And I just did First Lost, and I just welded those together. And then I'm going to use this white tooth to go in it, so it's First Tooth Lost is going to be the title of the page. So I have kind of laid out how I want them to go. I have photo mats here for my pictures. Sometimes, most of the time, I usually mat my photographs on the page. I just like the look that it gives. So I'm going to do some punching and some cuddle bugging on this page as well. And then we're going to use some stickles and some glossy accents to kind of jazz up the page just a little bit more. So this is Pink Pirouette from Stampin' Up, and it's just a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And then I have this piece of pattern paper here that is also from Stampin' Up, and I'm not sure the set that it comes from. It was a Christmas gift for me, and I believe it's Pretty in Pink that the base color is, and then it's Whisper White and Early Espresso, which I'm also using the Early Espresso in this page as well. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this down. This is 7 inches by 12 inches, and it's just going to be a layer on my page, and I'm using my Scotch ATG gun, and this pink one I purchased at Michael's. So I'm just going to place this a little bit from the top, just so that there's a little bit of an edge of that pink pirouette showing through. And then this piece of this green is Pear Pizzazz from Stampin' Up, and it's an in color for Stampin' Up, and it is cut at 8.5 by 5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and punch the edge of this with this border punch, and this is EK Scallop Punch. So as I just take it and line up the punch in the middle of the page, and to me that makes it more even on each side than just starting, right here at one end and then going forward. So I'm going to just get it in the middle as much as possible. And then you take your punched image and line it up on the side. There's silver markings on the side, which is the exact image that the punch cuts. And so I'm just going to line that up here and make sure that my paper is flush with the back lip on the punch to make sure you get as straight of a punch as you can. and then just go through it. Border on my accent piece right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink this up using Early Espresso. Sponges from Stampin' Up! That you can buy, they come in a big circle, and I've just trimmed them up. I'm going to just go ahead and ink the edges of this real quick. I just like the way that the inking kind of pops up the paper a little bit from the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down on top of that. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down on my page, just a little bit down from the pattern paper so you have a border around it with the pattern paper. Let's go ahead and attach the photos to our photo mats. And this picture is cut 4 inches by 4 inches. And the photo mat is just 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, so that it just has a nice little edge around it. And this picture here is just your standard 4 by 6 picture. This photo mat is cut at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, just so you have that nice 1/8 of an inch around the picture. And that's going to go right up here. I'm going to wait to attach my photos just till I get the rest of the little pieces adhered down. So we have our cute little tooth fairy here. And I'm just going to use some, I think, dry adhesive. This is just a nice wet glue to adhere this down. So we're just going to stick her just right there. It's just a really cute silhouette cut. The title, I have this little brown strip of paper that I'm going to stick in the background here, but I'm going to actually Cuttlebug it to give it some texture. Just the Provocraft Cuttlebug that was normally green, I just painted mine orange. Here is my piece of brown cardstock, and it's cut at 3 inches by 6 inches that my title's going to go on. And this is just the dots, I believe it's called, embossing folder. It's a 5 by 7 embossing folder, so it's big enough to emboss this whole piece of paper. Now to emboss, I'm just going to use my A plate and my 2 B plates. So you're going to stick your A plate down in a B plate. You're going to stick your Cuttlebug or your Cuttlebug embossing folder with your paper inside, and then you're going to put your B plate on top, and then we're just going to roll it through the Cuttlebug. This has just some nice texture to it. So let's go ahead and get this back out here. I'm going to go ahead and stick this right down here. And I'm going to use, again, the ATG gun. I'm going to adhere that down really well. And then I have my first right here and lost. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down again with the Scotch Quick Dry. Okay. Now with our tooth here, it's going to go right here in between the first and the last. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this up with a dimensional or pop dot. And these pop dots I just bought at Hobby Lobby. I have made my own in the past, and I do have a video on my blog about that. These ones just have a little bit more dimension that I like on them, so that's why I'm using that right now. So we're going to just put this right here. Picture's here. Let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and move this picture down and then put a strip of paper here so I can do some journaling on it. Now to add a little bit of character to this page, I'm going to go ahead and use some stickles, and I'm going to put these on the wings of the tooth fairy, and I'm just going to squirt this out over on a scrap piece of paper just to make sure it's going to come out okay. And I'm just going to add this to the wings. And I'm just using the applicator to kind of spread it along as I'm squeezing it out. You could use, you know, regular glue and glitter for this. This is just an easy way to apply a lot of glitter to images. And then to this tooth, what I'm going to do is add some glossy accents. And it's just a clear dimensional embellishment. You can use it as adhesive. It works really well for that as well. Make sure it's clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot on this tooth because I'm going to cover the whole tooth with this. So I'm going to just put a good amount on and just spread it around using the applicator. Tooth, a hard shiny layer. There's some bubbles in it, but in time it will dry out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my strip for my journaling. This is 4.5 by 1.5. Same 1/4 of an inch along the edges of that as well. And we're just going to go ahead and stick that there. Now you can add some brads to this, or actually I may just add some brads to it. I have some cute little flower brads that will match this up here. So this is what it will look like, and it'll be on dimensionals there. And so that's it for this layout. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and ask me there. And if you want more details like on the gypsy, that I didn't show any of that today, just go ahead and leave me a comment about that, and I can do some videos with the gypsy. I'm not big time pro at it, but I do use it on most things that I cut with the Cricut I do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.